The only place more dangerous to live in than prison is the world outside of it. A quick look at the evening news will convince any viewer that the world is a dangerous place to live. One violent crime is followed by another, and it becomes apparent that human nature has some serious flaws in it. Of course, not everybody feels the need to physically harm another person, but there are too many people who not only feel the compulsion but embrace it willingly. Because the outside world is dangerous, criminal justice becomes vitally important to a healthy society. Prisons are designed to house criminals, and some prisons are designed specifically for the world's most dangerous criminals. Brace yourself. These are the world's top 5 most brutal prisons. Terrorist Internment Center, El Salvador. The world was shocked to see the conditions inside the new terrorist internment center in El Salvador, a sprawling purpose-built jail filled with suspected gangsters as part of President Nayib Bukele's war on crime. Bukele announced that the first 2,000 members had been transferred to the Center for the Confinement of Terrorism, CECOT, which he claims is the largest mega-prison in the Americas, where they will live for decades, all mixed, unable to do any further harm to the population. It is designed to house 40,000 inmates in the most basic of conditions, with just 80 beds for every 100 men. The jail consists of 8 buildings made of reinforced concrete. Each one has 32 cells of about 100 square meters, 1,075 square feet, designed to hold more than 100 inmates. Pictures emerging from the jail: barefoot, tattooed men wearing only white boxers, bent over and with their hands behind their shaven heads. They are stacked closely together, each sitting with his legs on either side of the man in front of them as armed guards and balaclavas look on. In their cells they are left sitting on the floor before stacked metal beds with no mattresses visible. The barbarity of the conditions has already been criticized by many, including former prisoner and host of Netflix's Inside the World's Toughest Prisons, Raphael Rowe. He wrote in the Mail, "This is a deliberate policy to control the inmates and manage them. I fear it will backfire badly and result in violence even worse than the gang-driven chaos the government is desperately trying to stamp out." The Black Dolphin, Russia. The infamous K6 Black Dolphin prison in Russia is one of the most feared jails in the world for one reason: nobody has ever left it. Used as Vladimir Putin's personal hole into hell, anyone deserving enough or unfortunate enough to be sent to the small compound near the border with Kazakhstan will soon crack. Everyone sent to the Black Dolphin has been issued life sentence without parole, and the 700-strong population contains murderers, rapists and even cannibals like Vladimir Nikolaevich Nikolaev. Prisoners are kept in solitary confinement for all but 90 minutes a day, where they are escorted to a cage for exercise. In terms of nourishment, all there is to eat is 4 portions of soup. The prison officers of Black Dolphin, named after a sculpture of a black dolphin made by prisoners set in front of the main entrance, have a unique form of escorting inmates. Prisoners are kept bent over at the waist while a guard holds their handcuffed hands behind their back, higher than the hips. This position keeps the prisoner most helpless, unable to observe his surroundings nor attack anyone else. When prison officers make a command to the inmates, they must respond with the words "Yes, sir." Every 15 minutes, a guard makes rounds to ensure Black Dolphin inmates are complying with the rules. Dadmor Prison, Syria. Dadmor Prison is known as one of the bleakest places a human being can be held, for the simple reason that it is designed to offer inmates no amenities at all. Whilst it was used to hold those opposed to Bashar Hafez al-Assad's Syrian regime, it was famous for the torture and summary execution of those held there. After being captured by ISIS militants in 2015, photos emerged of the horrendous conditions inside the jail, complete with tiny windowless cells where those accused of committing crimes were held in total darkness once the huge steel doors slammed shut. Prisoners held in the cells could expect to have little to bide their time or even relax with, as there was no bedding or lights. The only semblance of a toilet in the cells were small holes in the floor, and presence of mold was everywhere. The jail is notorious for the guards' brutal treatment of prisoners and even a state-sponsored massacre of those held there in the early 1980s. On June 27, 1980, following an Islamist Muslim Brotherhood assassination attempt on the then-president, Hafez al-Assad. The day after the attempted attack, the president's brother Rafat al-Assad ordered the country's defense brigades to enter the jail and butcher the prisoners. It is estimated that more than 1,000 people were killed in the cells, dormitories and corridors of the prison. Alcuas, Brazil. The rotting jail at Alcuas in Brazil is renowned for its utter savagery and was once the center of a sprawling prison riot in which numerous abominations were committed and 26 prisoners were murdered. Located in the crime-ridden city of Natal, the prison has been closely fought over for years by rival drug cartels, the First Capital Command, PCC, from Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro's Red Command, who often order executions from inside the jail. Inside the iron cage, nobody is truly safe from the gang war, with hostage situations involving guards common. The most violent episode that occurred at the facility took place in 2017 and is still remembered as the darkest period in Brazilian justice. After the facility was completely taken over by the gangs, armed riot police stormed the prison and fought them in a guerrilla war. Grim footage from the aftermath of the riot showed severed heads of gang members strewn across the prison yard, their blood congealing with the dust underfoot. Other videos depicted gang members chopping the heads off their rivals, slicing their hearts out and disemboweling them. Bogotá District Prison, Colombia. Whilst the effects of solitary confinement can render even the most stoic of inmates nutty, there are some prisons around the world where criminals would beg for a bit of private space. Bogotá District Prison in Colombia is one such institution, a cavernous block of a building where 11,000 prisoners are left to fend for themselves. Split into 6 wings, inmates are confined to a central courtyard all day where a strict and violent hierarchy is enforced by the prisoners themselves. Populated by hitmen, drug lords and murderers, fights, stabbings and even murders are commonplace within the walls, as the guards do not police inside the jail itself. When they do, things can turn pretty grisly, fairly particular with a protest against the coronavirus measures in 2020 where residents set fire to their mattresses, ending with the death of 23 inmates. In 2016, an investigation was launched after human remains of some 100 visitors and inmates were found festering in the prison drain pipes. It was famously featured on Netflix's Inside the World's Toughest Prisons, where host Rafael Roa was threatened at knife point on his first day in the prison if he would not give up his bed. Though the world outside is itself a dangerous place, prisons are undoubtedly some of the most violent places in the world. Prisons take the most dangerous elements in the world and isolate them in small places. Though there are many violent prisons in the world, these 5 serve as some of the most notorious.